you had to play a game after your father passed away. How hard was that? And what are you doing playing football in that kind of a moment when you're that young?
You've done your research. That John was the toughest thing I've ever had to do. We played on Saturdays because we didn't have lights on our field, and I think the games typically started at 11. And we had my dad's funeral, who had passed away that week. We had it that morning, and I stood waiting for all the people in line for 3 hours before the service started. My dad was a teacher at Sheboygan South High School, was a coach for many years, and it was standing room only. I couldn't believe how many people showed up for that. And by the time the game started, it was an hour and 15 minutes delayed because of the funeral. And playing in that game, I really don't remember anything other than scoring the touchdown that helped us win the game. And it was just a blur to me because I was playing the game. I knew what I was there to do. I blocked the things out of my mind, but every time I'd come to the sideline, I would always look up in the stands, and he wasn't there. And my mom was there. And it was different for me. And I realized, okay, now my mom's my cheering section. That's going to put a smile on my face. And I'd go back out, and it was the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. But at the same time, it was the most rewarding because my dad was that type of guy. He would have said, get your ass out on the field. Don't you feel sorry for me. You go out there and play. Kind of like what Favre had to go through with his dad. And you go out there and you do everything you can. And when the game is done, you're like, what just happened? And that was nice that you brought that up, John. I don't get to talk about that very often, but it was a rough day. It was a rough week. It's always on my mind too.